last night on The Bachelor.
Because of the limited time we've had together, mostly it's been me like telling you about myself, and I actually don't know that much about you.
Yeah, I love rap. You know what I'm saying? My favorite color is blue.
What's my favorite color?
Is it blue also? What is it?
You know, most normal people get to know each other before they get married. They date.
Date?
Yeah, date. You go someplace special, like a restaurant, or a movie or museum, or you just hang out and you talk. Forget about your interests, your likes, your dislikes, you talk.
You have such strange ideas about love.
Welcome to The Bachelor, where we're now in the Dominican Republic for fantasy suites. That magical time in any season where the cameras get shut off, intimate moments are shared, and usually the lead does something stupid that implodes the whole season. But Grant and production are trying to make sure that doesn't happen. I mean, they even have the women staying at completely different hotels. Remember the days when they had the women stay in the same room for fantasy suites?
Those were the days.
Although I do take great exception to the fact that there's a hotel named Zoetry and they didn't have Zoe stay there. I mean, who's running the show? Amateurs? But before each fantasy suite begins, the Bachelor people bring out past stars who've been through this week to give out advice. Like Daisy, who tells Juliana that if you stick it out, no matter how difficult it gets, even you could get a sponsorship deal with Daisy Cottage Cheese.
At this point, I've definitely been struggling. It feels just like past experiences with my ex. I was cheated on for so long. He had a bunch of chicks on the side.
Okay, absolutely chaotic that you then decided to go on The Bachelor. It's like deciding to confront your fear of clowns by wrestling a circus. But Daisy says this is the time where you have to open up because it's the only way you can free yourself and let your relationship grow. Or at least grow enough to become the runner-up. So Juliana shows up for her fantasy suite date, where Grant says it's time to get dirty, if you know what I mean. 'Cause we're going four-wheeling, and Grant makes sure that this is the dirtiest fantasy suite ever.
Mud bath on. You look good. Hey, I like the man. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm telling you. I could tell that Juliana is worried about the way she looks.
Then, to finish off their ride, they miraculously find this random bench in the woods with a bottle of champagne. It's truly beautiful what you can find just out in nature. Well, here, Juliana begins to share her concerns, and Grant expresses that he's sometimes scared too. And as we head into the night portion of the date, Juliana opens up even further, specifically about her past relationship that continued to cheat on her.
And I'm a little broken, but I'm just so afraid that somebody's not gonna love me for the full me.
And Juliana says that she just wants to fix herself for the right person, a person like Grant.
It's just so scary to feel I have somebody like you in front of me.
Well, Grant says that she doesn't need to come to him 100% made up. Everyone has parts of them that are or feel broken. And this whole moment only endears Grant more, as this just solidifies the whole wolf pack thing they've got going on. You know, the lone wolves are becoming a pack.
You know something?
What?
You know what I remember the most from today?
Oh, let me guess, the part where she opened up and cried with you?
When you were so conscious about your hair.
Ah, I should have known. But Grant says this to drive home the idea that she doesn't need to be perfect all the time. So out comes the fantasy suite card, and these two are about to get some precious time alone, away from the cameras, I assume to play board games into the wee hours of the night. And well, it's on to a new day, where after some breakfast in bed, and the camera people trying to insinuate that everything happened last night, it's time for Grant to say goodbye.
Bye, Mr. Ellis.
Bye.
Bye, boyfriend.
Bye, girlfriend.
He says as he walks into the next girl's room for another fantasy suite, which will actually be Zoe's, and her alumni sit-down is going to be with Rachel, who also got the least amount of time with her lead Joey when she was in the final three. However, when Rachel hears how little time Zoe's really had and what she's done...
The bride and groom shoot.
Let me just take a little drink to that.
Yes! I'm here without having ever had a one-on-one, so fully...
Okay, well, good luck then. And for this date, it's still wild to think that this is their first one-on-one other than their hometown, where here they get to do a silent yoga date staring into each other's eyes, and if they dare say a word...
Sorry.
Yes, nothing like trying to catch up on time you haven't had to get to know each other, and instead you get the silent fantasy suite.
First thing I was thinking was, don't fart.
So, as things get into the night portion of the date, it's crucial that they use this time to really get to know each other. Like, for example, does Zoe know, like we know, how Grant loves to sing? Or that his favorite color is blue? But okay, now that Zoe knows that, it's time to share her favorite color, because apparently this is a fantasy suite for 4-year-olds.
What's my favorite color?
Is it blue also? What is it? Like you said, oh, what is it?
No, I mean teal. I like it teal.
Okay.
Wow, this really is one of the fantasy suites of all time. Well, Grant says that even though they didn't get a one-on-one, he sees so much potential in Zoe, and so that's why they're here. But, I don't know, when the fantasy suite card comes out, Grant looks like he's about to fall asleep, so I think this one's a wrap, folks. Then it's on to the next day, where I guess they give Zoe a bonus picnic with Grant because of how little time she had, so at least she's got that going for her. But while this happens, we're actually going to head over to Latia's resort, Breathless, where she has been expressing her deep concern over Grant spending these overnights with the other women. So who better to get her even more stressed than Katie, the woman who, on her fantasy suite, was told 10 minutes in that her man had slept with someone else despite announcing to the world that fantasy suites was going to be a no-sex week.
He tells me that he got intimate with another woman.
He told you that?
Yes.
Okay.
So
You're
like
well,
that's
really, I
back.
wish you hadn't said that.
So Katie's advice is to basically tell Grant immediately that you don't want to hear about his other dates. Really, like the minute he opens his mouth, go,
All right, zip it.
You can't even.
Zip it. Zip. I can't. When a problem comes along, you must zip it. Zip it good. Zip it.
Now for this date, Grant wants to see Latia's adventurous side and ask the question, are Mormons even allowed to zipline? I mean, last week he didn't know if they could drink or swear or bring non-Mormons home, so he just wants to make sure.
I'm having a blast, and I think Latia's having a fun time too.
Not what I was expecting. I'm not normally one for adventure.
Luckily for Latia, though, things quickly transition to the cenote, where it's here that she brings up her concerns about the other dates, and also says that being physical is off the table for her at this time. We then move on to the night portion of the date, where I gotta say, I love what Latia's wearing. It's giving grandma sweater, but with a little bit of skin showing. The perfect way to say you're not getting any tonight, but you know what? I understand the game. They also discuss a timeline on kids and how they both want them, but perhaps Latia wants them a little bit quicker. However, she's also said that she's willing to move to be with him, which is a huge deal in this franchise, and also on a lot of other reality TV dating shows. Because so often the moving thing or the long distance thing breaks couples up. And when Latia reiterates that she's not wanting to be physical with Grant tonight, Grant says what's more important is the person she is on the inside.
I could see myself with you. I could see you as my wife. Because I do love you.
So, while Latia has made her boundaries known, with that declaration, she's choosing to forego her individual room and spend tonight playing Scrabble with Grant. And hey, if Grant's lucky, maybe she'll even read him a bedtime book. The Book of Mormon. So it's now the next day, and Grant needs to make a decision. He's crossed that I love you line with Latia, but there are still 2 other women left, one of which he's basically in the same place with as Latia.
Because I do love her, but I also am falling hard and, if not, very close to in love with somebody else.
Okay, Grant, we know who you're talking about. I know you're trying to keep the names out of it for the show, but no offense, Zoe, it's not you. Meaning, get ready for a rose ceremony that's about to go down in Bachelor history, and by that I mean as the most predictable outcome in possibly any fantasy suite ever. Because the roses come out, Latia gets hers first, and then we get the final rose.
Juliana?
And so, Zoe is headed home. Not really a shocker considering how little time they've had on top of an already shorter season. But it's at this point that the show continues, and I almost thought for a second that it was going to be a 3-hour episode. Cause they bring out Grant's folks for the meet the family dates, but nope. They decide to end the episode here, probably because the rose ceremony was not really suspenseful. Instead, they ended on this. Grant proclaiming that he's now in love with both women, and he just can't decide.
I've never been this indecisive in my life. One minute I'm here, the next minute I'm there. I'm not like that. So stay tuned for my demise.
So that's it for this recap of The Bachelor Week 8 and Fantasy Suites. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to the channel for more content. And until next time, Bachelor Fantake out.
You know, most normal people get to know each other before they get married.
You have such strange ideas about love.